coach. This is Apurva from Gobian Sports.
Afternoon.
My question is to you that the team is winless in last 4 matches. Do you want to alter anything or stick to what you are doing so far?
Good afternoon to everyone to start with. To answer your question, we need to continue getting better at what we do. As I said, we've played some fantastic football over the past 10 games, not just the 4 that you've mentioned, and it's important that we've shown signs of getting better in that. So we'll very much continue playing the way we have and trying to make sure that what we do is as good as it can be over a large period of time.
Yes, sir. Coach, just a follow-up question that the decisions are not going on your way so far. So how tough it is to take those decisions back and move forward in the future?
How tough is it to take those decisions that the referees are making and move forward?
Oh, you have to move on quite quickly. You know, I said what I said after the game because it was the right thing, I think, and I'm still reviewing it. It's still the right thing to have said. But we have a game in 2 days afterwards or 3 days after now. So once that game is done, it's done. There's nothing more you can do about it. We have no control over it, so we have control over how we approach the next one. So we have to move on, and we have moved on very quickly.
Thank you, Coach. Best wishes for the next ones.
Thank you.
Thanks, Apurva. Soham.
Yeah, hi Coach, this is Soham from IFTWC. Just wanted to get your thoughts on what did you make of Vinicius' performance in the previous game? Obviously made his debut for the club.
For who?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please? No?
Yeah, just wanted to get your thoughts on Vinicius who made his debut for the club in the previous game.
Yeah, I thought he played well. He come on, he was very calm, and that's part of the reason we've brought him to the club. He's an excellent player who will fit our style of football very well. And you know, we only had him for training the day before. It was quite a whirlwind 24 or 48 hours for him. So we only trained for 1 session with us. But when he come on, he looked very comfortable, and he's a very good midfield player. And we've spent some time with him over the past 2 days, really looking at how we can implement the style that we want to really enhance and help him play within the style of this team.
Thanks, Soham.
Yeah, just a follow.
Go on.
Yeah, just to follow up on what Apurva asked. Do you think you see a gradual decline in the level of refereeing in the league?
I don't think that's my place to comment on an incline or a decline. I just comment on what I see in the games that we play, and you know, I haven't said anything about referees all the way through the season. You know, we had opportunities too, and I was actually quite complimentary around some of the refereeing that I had seen, but it got to a point in the last game where, for me, there was 3 decisions that were very crystal clear and weren't given. And then that on the back of situations that had happened all the way through the previous 9 rounds. And off the top of my head, the game against Goa at the start of the year where we lost Vignesh to 6 weeks and didn't get a clear penalty, all the way through to Matanda Fall gets sent off. I have no issue with the send off, but it was more that the penalty that was given when the foul was 3 or 4 yards outside the box, to Deshaun Brown's goal, their first goal, which is 5 yards offside. So it's been I know it's very difficult to referee, and I know there's difficult situations that arise, but my frustration was more around the amount of decisions, especially after the last game in the 3 penalties, which I certainly still feel were penalties. So I felt I needed to say something based upon the amount of decisions that I'd seen over a period of 10 games. But I do realise it's very difficult for the referees. But again, I felt it was the right time to say something then. But like I said, we've moved on, and we look forward to the second half of the season.
Yeah, thanks, Coach, and best of luck for the upcoming game.
Thank you.
Thanks, Soham. Clinton.
No, it's already asked. Thank you. All the best, Coach, for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Clinton. Sayantan.
Hello, Coach. So finally, in the last game, you had a clean sheet. So now, do you think that would help the defense to, get sorted in ways? Because you conceded 10 goals in the previous matches.
Yeah, again, we over the context of the 10 games, so we're now at a sort of halfway point in the season where we look back at 10 games, we've had 3 clean sheets, which just under a third of the games where we've had that. So yeah, the last one was pleasing because the 3 games prior to that we'd obviously conceded 10 goals, which isn't what we want. But to address that and to come away with a clean sheet was hugely pleasing. And we had a young debutant that started his first league game in goal. So for him and for that backline to come away with that was good. And now we need to kick on and make sure that we continue that in the next couple of games, while also going back to making sure we're scoring goals.
I had another question, Coach. I just wanted your word on Ahmed Rasheeds' performances. Whatever happens, he still keeps on hitting the mark every game in and game out. So I wanted to have a word on him.
Yeah, Jahul, when I arrived at the club, the first thing I noticed, obviously the performances of Jahul last year and previous seasons here, he's a very influential player, not just in our team, but within the league. And he constantly backs that up with his performances. But there's another side to Jahul as a person, and he's a wonderful person. And the way he's worked with me and with the playing group, he's really started to take his game on and develop his game as well. And he's been an absolute pleasure to work with up until this point now, and I very much look forward to working with him for the remainder of the season and beyond.
Thank you, Coach, and all the way.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shantan. Apurva, we'll come back to you. Pracha, you have a question?
Yeah, hi Coach. So my question to you is, you gave a start to Lachenpa in the last game. So how happy you are with his performance, and will you continue to give him chances?
Yeah, I've been very happy with Fuba. Since pre-season, he shared the game time with the other goalkeepers and played well. And he's trained extremely hard. And as we've said to all of the players here, we can measure them through either game footage or the training that we have with them. And he's worked extremely hard, and he will get his opportunity. And he got that in the last game. And I don't think he had too much to do, but what he did very well. And again, you come back to the clean sheet as well. It's a very nice start for him. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of games, but it's an excellent start for him. I was very pleased with him to make his starting debut. Thank you.
Thanks, Pracha. Apurva, you have a follow-up?
Yes, Coach, you have a victory in the first round against Bengaluru FC, and how do you see this match as an opponent of Bengaluru FC? What are your approach will be?
Yeah, I'm expecting a very similar game. It was a very tight affair against them the last time we played them. I think we went into the half-time at 1-1, a very even game where Navas has actually saved a penalty just before that kept us in the game and allowed us to go on to win it. We had two good goals that we scored in the second half. And they're a good team, and I keep saying this, I don't think regardless of who you play at the moment, the league position is irrelevant, because everyone, as you can see on the league at the moment and the closeness of the points, everyone's capable of pulling off results against each other. So we're very much prepared and ready for what we face, and we're very much looking forward to the game.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Apurva. Shiraj, do you have a question?
Yeah, hi.
Yes, hi.
Coach, the first half of the league is over, and we have seen, wherever Mumbai plays, most of them are, 90% of them are high-scoring encounters. So my question is, even if they are high-scoring encounters, there are times when you feel that this is not high-quality football. So what have been your impressions about Indian football? You have 10 matches into the league. What are the conversations which you probably have with the youngsters, or with the Indian footballers in order to improve them? I mean, how do you see Indian football basically? Do you think even with the goals coming in, how do you judge the Indian football even though we score lot of goals? Can you, give us an elaborate answer?
I'll try to. I'll do my best with that. I'll answer it firstly from our club perspective. We're obviously judged in the senior space and in professional leagues on the external result, which is what puts us in a certain place on the table. And for us to be sitting where we are at the moment, as tight as it is, as I speak to you right now, we sit top of the table. So at the halfway point, we're still in a very strong position and in a good position to enter the second half of the season, and one we're very much looking forward to. You're going to have to remind me of the next part.
The quality of football, even though they're high scoring.
Yeah, the quality. Again, from the players that I'm working with on a daily basis, I'm very pleased with. What I do see within the games, though, it's you've mentioned high-scoring games, and they are in a lot of places around the world. They're not maybe as big or maybe as many goals are being scored. So what I do see is the longer the games go on, the more the games get open and stretched, and that's something that we're aware of it from our team, both making sure that we don't become too disjointed ourselves, but also trying to take advantage of those moments. So look, I'm very happy with the players that we have here and the technical ability, whether it's the young players that you mentioned, or the senior or the older players that we have. And I think with the extension and the time we now have, especially in this bubble, the time we use with those players can really help develop them as individuals and hopefully develop the team.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Ilaj. Guys, if there's any further questions, I'll request you to put your names in the chat box. Yes, Sandeep.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Afternoon.
Coach, I just wanted to ask about yesterday. Obviously, a game was cancelled because the bubble was breached. Obviously, no problems in your camp. So, is there anything that the league has spoken to you about? Has there been any increase from your end in terms of being vigilant? And how are you looking at the current situation?
Yeah, we were made aware at the start of the season around the rules that are in place, and if COVID was to strike within the bubble, what the protocols for that would be. So we were very much aware of that from the start. We were reminded again, I think probably 10 days ago at the end of December, roughly, when there was a big increase in the numbers across not just the cities but across India and the world as to what those protocols would be. And then it's about us making sure that what we have control of, which is our environment here, we are as secure as we can be, and that just revolves around following the strict rules we have around masks being worn around the complex and making sure that people are adhering to what we're asking them to, which, for 80 people we have here in our own bubble, we have control of. And then you just make sure that when you go to the training ground or to the stadiums that you hope everyone else is following those protocols to try and keep what is a fast spreading disease out of this environment for as long as we can.
Coach, a follow-up on before the game, any injuries and suspension?
The only suspension is Jahul. He picked up his 4th yellow card in the last game, so he'll be missing for this one. But otherwise, no, we're as we were for the last game, so it's going to be too soon for Vikram. But otherwise, we're as we were last week, just without Jahul. But of course, we have Vinit that has joined us to fill that void as well, should we look to use him.
All the best, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sandeep. Soham, do you follow up?
Yeah, hi Coach. Jahul has obviously picked up 4 yellow cards and he'll be suspended for the next game. So how does that impact your football stylistically for the next game, and can we expect something different from the men in the middle of the park?
Yeah, it gives us an option if we would like to change things to do that, and it also gives us an option with the foreigners we have. Obviously Joe will take one of those spots to play one of those others if we choose to, and where we play them and how we play them. So we do have options available to us. I'll leave it till tomorrow for you to see whether or not we change what we do or we stick to what we do. But I think we've been very clear over the last 10 games. We have a way of working and way of doing things here, and whoever comes into the team and however we go about our business, we'll very much follow a consistent theme and continue trying to get better in our playing style, both with and without the ball.
Yeah, thanks for your answers, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Soham. Sayantan?
Yes, Coach, I had one more question. What have you made of Ignatius' performances so far in the season?
He's not had many, unfortunately. I said we lost him after 20 minutes against Goa in round 1 because of the tackle and the obviously penalty that wasn't given. But he's worked extremely hard, and for me, I've worked with a lot of young players, and he has all the assets to be a fantastic left back, especially in the system that we play. He has a high skill set, his athletic ability is very strong, and he's very coachable and understands and learns very quickly. So, like I said, we haven't had too much time to work with him as much as we wanted, because he's been on the injury list, working with the medical team a bit more than us. But the time we have spent with him, I'm very excited to work with him and see where we can get him, and that's part of the reason as to why he's playing at the moment.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sayantan. Shilaj?
Yeah, hi. Coach, I just wanted to ask you, even though Mumbai City is leading the table with 17 points, but the gap between the teams is very less when it comes to points. Basically, like I guess it's between Mumbai City at the top and Goa at 8th. It's I think 5 points is the difference. So have you had a target in mind? Set a target in mind? You know, about the points where you think you might be safe. You know, considering the top 4.
No, we don't tend to look at that too much. We focus very much on our playing style, and again we'll go back to putting some context around it. We've got comparisons that we draw also from last year's team, so we have some measures from there. And when we compare where we are after 10 rounds to the team from last year, we're a team that at the moment has more possession, more passes, that are having more shots on goal than this team were having last year. So we have those internal measures. Obviously the external measures are important and the results are important because that puts us where we want. So for where we are, based upon the fact that we've had limited time together and we still find ourselves in a very strong position, I'm very happy. And I said especially this year where you know there seem to be more teams beating other teams because of the strength of those teams. I'm not sure what the points target may be this year just because of that reason, but the most important thing is that we continue to measure ourselves internally with our own measures, that I've just mentioned some of those, and then make sure that transpires onto the pitch. And I'm convinced if we can continue not only comparing ourselves to last year and showing improvement from that, but also spending time working on our playing style, that if we can consistently perform in that manner and outperform that we'll put ourselves in a very strong position come the end of the season.
Thank you, Coach, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Any further questions? All right, if then none, we'll conclude the press conference. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you, guys. See you next time.